Entertain a motion to accept. Got one, got two. First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Both seems. Caroline, this is you.
Yes, so I just had a conversation with Andy about where we're sitting. And some of the feedback that I've received since we announced 50 units, but it required 10 off-street parking units. Okay. Should I bring everyone up to speed with where we're at? Okay.
First, tell me where we're at.
Okay, update on the purchase of 128 Second Street West.
Number two.
Oh, sorry, you guys, sorry, I did coordinator's report. I missed the
Oh.
coordinator's report.
Oh, okay. Would you guys mind if we move that to the end?
Yeah, is that okay?
Regardless, because I was just pointing to her, we usually do the director's report at the end of the meeting and it just got caught up there, so. Okay.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so update on purchase of 128 Second Street West. Why don't you narrate, I guess, who we selected and then I'll talk about the conversations that I had.
So we had, so this is with respect to Grandpa's Barn and the Glander Building. And that parking lot, right? So that's the area we're looking at. We put out RFPs. For a builder to come in and build multifamily housing apartments for, workforce housing, so kind of market rate, no, it's not market rate, workforce housing.
Well, it is market rate and workforce,
Okay.
yeah.
So anyway, not subsidized, but anyway, kind of more managed, rentals. So we had four on turn, and we toured five properties, 5 builders, and we went through a scoring process with respect to the applications, and the one that came up was Keller Bartman. Keller Bartman has a huge amount of experience in this region, certainly in Red Wing, as an example. Just finished a property in Zumbrota a couple years ago, and they did one in Cannon Falls, which I think is like they're open now, it's open at least now. So they were the ones, and we presented that to city council, last council meeting, so that would have been this month's meeting, so February's meeting, and it was approved, unanimous approval to go ahead and move forward with that. So now it's back in front of us again. So what we need to do is to kind of start this process. One of the first things we need to do is start to negotiate what we're gonna do with the land. All of these different proposals talked about the need for what they call a capital stack, and some of that was some grant funding, some TIF money or TIF consideration, and some sort of real estate allocation, or however you want to kind of put it. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
Yep, so I will continue, so. What they announced to council and showed plans for was for 50 units. And let's see if I can find that attachment, so it was gonna be. The old number was, try to find it, like a lot of studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, but it was 50 units total. And we were short 10 parking spaces in the sense that for 50 units, there is only 40 off-street parking spaces between the underground garage and the service lot. So,
Less than that. I think they're 12 short.
yeah, they were 12 short. They found 2 more on the site when I talked to them today, so then we were 10 short.
Oh, okay.
So then I talked to Andy today, because most of the feedback that I've gotten since then is still concerned about not having enough off-street parking spots for the number of units. So they played around, they looked at your idea, Dave, but if you take out units where the parking garage level is, you'll end up with a garage stall in the front face of the building. So I think that wouldn't look good, and so what they did is they reduced it, and that's why I'm sharing you, this is the update I got as of, you know, an hour ago, was a total of 44 units, so they took 6 units off. Then they have 40 parking stalls that they had found, of those 28 are underground, and they found 12 on site. So that would leave us short, basically, 4 units of people that would need a park in the vicinity, I guess, they don't get an off-street parking spot, assuming that. You know, and some people may have 2 cars, so it's still gonna be, I think, a challenge.
Some people could have 3 cars.
Yeah,
Never been a-
yeah.
Some are gonna have
So-
none, so
Yeah,
we don't know them.
so, and then with trying to do less units. They did more larger 2-bedroom units, so the current, the mix that they're talking about, but I'm gathering feedback from you. Would be 9 studio, I think they had 13 studio before, 14 1-bedrooms, 15 2-bedrooms, and 6 3-bedrooms. But as a result of doing that. To again, make their numbers work, they looked at then needing to charge like $100 more a month than they had
Sure.
originally planned on. So I've got it in front of me, but I was trying to put it up for you guys, so I think where they were at 800 to 825 for a studio, they'd be at $900 for a studio. $1,175 a month for a 1-bedroom, $1,300 a month for a 2-bedroom, and $1,400 to $1,425 for a 3-bedroom. Dusty, just to put you on the spot, can you tell us what you pay right now in rent, if you could share or range? You have a 2-bedroom, right?
I have a 2-bedroom, and I pay $12.50 a month.
$12.50.
Yeah, that is underground parking
Okay,
and
One stall?
one slot behind the building.
oh, one's 2, wow,
I have
okay,
2
yeah,
and storage.
okay,
town
Is that a nice city?
That's Winona. That's Winona.
yeah.
And that's nice fit and finish, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
What's that?
It's nice fit and finish, it's nice finishes, it's nice. I mean, it's a
Did
nice
you tour
property.
it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a nice property,
yes, it's very lovely and it's
it's,
very quiet too.
yeah, cheap.
Mhm.
And so what we're kind of working with again is the 7% interest rates. And so looking at competitiveness with a statewide grant, which makes the project work, without getting the statewide grant, the project doesn't work. It kind of forces everyone to ask no more than 25% of the total project costs. So he said even with now the 25%, then I pushed back a little bit, just kind of talking to colleagues. Can we get, instead of a 26-year TIF as was originally proposed, keeping the 95-5 split? And so he said, we still need to do what they call value engineering. So they've heard that for us, the LP Smart side is important, or metal, but no vinyl. So then they were saying, well, maybe we can cut like a key fob system, and instead people use a key to enter it. So I wanted, oh, I don't know if that's somebody, oh, that's Corey. I guess feedback from the group, 50 units work with, you know, more availability. For parking versus going down to 44, so that there's not as much of a parking constraint. Do you guys want me to keep pushing for the best deal possible for Wabasha, which would be 20 years versus a 26-year tip? We did learn that in the 26-year tips.
We're most of them paid off early anyways, that seems like they were all
That's
saying.
what we learned, but I still wonder if then they are committed and they use that. I don't know that necessarily means we close the TIF early. I have to clarify that. I don't know that, I think they get, I'm thinking doesn't necessarily mean that the TIF is closed early. I can ask that question. Yeah.
So we heard from Keller Bartman, we heard from your developer where you live. and maybe even Cannon Falls, I don't remember, that not everybody ends up using a parking stall, and they end up like either renting out or,
older widows.
yeah, you know, that settles out over time, so I think our zoning says there has to be one per on-site per unit, right?
So what our zoning code actually says is 1.5, so you'd need on, you know,
So,
60, you need way more than what we got, but you, in a downtown area, you can make up for that within 1,000
yeah,
feet of the property, so.
Pretty quiet downtown after 5 o'clock.
yeah,
So I was trying to envision, is the underneath the bridge area 1,000 feet from there? Cause there's like,
less than 1,000.
yeah, there's like,
But
there's 50 stalls under the bridge probably, so. Yeah,
that's-
I was
that's-
just getting negative feedback from the community as I was talking about the project, about having 50 units and only 40 stalls.
and losing more than this town.
So they're identifying that they're losing parking downtown.
The parking lot plus,
We just have to know about the time.
we're gonna have some of them taking street parking, so we're losing 35, 40.
But what's the chance of losing the project itself if we have to go from 50 units to 44 units from the builder's perspective?
Oh, no, they're excited about 40.
I think the price would
Yeah.
go up,
Yeah.
that's just what they did. to compensate.
The question is, their rent prices went up by $100, but it's still not on it's still lower than Zabrota,
Yeah,
but,
I don't think that's gonna be much of a problem.
okay.
And I think that we need to recognize it's gonna be 25-year, 27-year TIF. I just do, in order for us to ensure a successful project. I think those are the kinds of things we're gonna need to accommodate.
Okay,
That's my take on this, you know, I mean.
Right now-
But I don't want them in so tight on this that maintenance gets to kind of get pushed to the side, you know. They talked about how they clean the decks, clean the windows on an annual basis, that kind of stuff. I want to see that for downtown, you know, as opposed to doing it as needed,
okay.
you know, whatever that might be.
Right
So
now,
there's some-
I think I told him I'd get feedback from this group and then we'll sit down. Right now, he's got us penciled in as a 20-year. And it kind of works, but they are talking about like getting rid of key fobs and doing just a key.
So you're saying the 26 works better for them?
Yeah, it's gonna, you know, and so then what happens is they go back to
Yeah,
key fob. And I think that in our world today, we need to be that contemporary, we can't be sliding back with keys or whatever.
regular keys, okay. I was like, oh, we're gonna get rid of the key fobs, okay.
You know,
Do you have a key fob or a key?
I have keys,
Oh, okay,
but
alright.
they are, you can only get them at one place, and they know if you lose them, then you're charged $50.
right,
So,
yeah,
Tom locks, that's it.
Last year, we changed all the locks in the condos.
every time you leave, yeah,
Still
it changes. Right,
okay, yeah.
every time that you transfer or get a new
You
tenant,
have to have an app on them.
polylocks can be.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
See
that,
that,
that's
but,
nice. If you-
yeah, I know, but a lot of seniors don't have that, so
Yeah.
if you're looking at senior housing, do they have smartphones with apps for key fobs to get into the butterfly system?
I don't know.
Which all of our children do, but.
But I can say the building we toured was definitely a lot of seniors and
Okay.
people with
well,
disabilities.
yeah, there's.
Yeah, they have,
They said a lot.
Yeah,
okay, so you don't need to have an app on a smartphone to be
I
able
don't think so.
to get it going
Yeah.
and set it up, okay.
So I want
Okay.
to ask a question about the TIF. So
Yeah.
does that delay, the collection of property taxes for
Yeah,
27 years, or is it stepped along the way?
It delays it, but there's a value to it, and so it's spread out over 27 years, and what happens. And what they've talked about, we heard this from a couple of developers, as Carolyn was kind of alluding to. Property taxes are going up so much, values are going up so much that TIF gets caught up quicker. So then it's done in 23 years or 21 years. Now, the question is,
let me
can
find
we
out.
close that
Can
TIF
we
out
close it
then?
out? Yeah,
You know, or does it stay open and they get
I think
that.
they said, I think they said they did close those tips early.
One
Yeah.
developer
Yeah.
said that, but not them, so let me ask that. I think if we learn that we can close it out early, I'll push for it, and then I'll get further clarity on the value engineering if we stick with the 20 and I'll take it from there. On the land, I was really adamant that we try to get paid back someday from the land, but just kind of with where things at, I think what we'll look at is maybe just a 3-year forgivable or 5-year forgivable, which that guarantees they do what they say. But I think we're gonna have to give away this land for free, so.
I believe it was.
So anyone have concerns with that? I mean, I don't know what the city, I heard the city maybe bought it for 300,000.
That we're gonna have, just like everybody else did.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get anybody to do it. You're gonna get them.
What about, kickback on the loss of parking lot? Those spaces are also gonna go on, plus the 6 units you don't have parking spots for.
So arguably, I guess what we can say is, we can expand the parking lot underneath the bridge. A whole nother section, which we haven't done yet, so,
Towards the river. that
towards the
one
river, yeah, that can be expanded. I think our lease with the MinDOT goes there, goes that far. So that's something that we can do to kind of offset that a little bit. That's all I've got.
I can always find a parking spot, but even on it, but I know, so. But, no, there's not gonna be any kickback for losing that, we're gonna get 44 units of housing in a community that desperately needs more, that's the kickback,
So you're
so.
gonna get feedback, not kickback.
Feedback, will we get, yes, I've gotten feedback about the loss of the parking stalls for the library. Bev, the director, I understand to be on board, and her staff plan to park near the bowling alley, which is pretty empty during the day, except for Rotary once every 2 weeks. And then for library patrons, we've just said will have to get used to needing to walk farther to access the library.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the dentists, like
Yeah.
even Emily's dentist, they park in that lot, so it's pretty full,
that's
yeah.
Mhm.
One thing I noticed in Zumbrota was that during the day when I was there at 9:30, the inside parking lot was only 4 cars in, they were all going to work. And the outside, there's a parking lot was empty, they had a full parking lot, outside.
Sure.
And they're all at work, so it's at night when they would be back, so you have the bowling alley to attend with and that's it. And that's-
Issue though, Dave, is what we set up, we didn't see if Keller Bartman would allow the community to park in that lot during the day. Because I think they wanna guarantee that the residents.
No, I
get-
would
I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Only because there's private.
they have so few employees now,
yeah,
or there's only a couple cars
Yeah.
the ladies that park back there, but I see them in the back.
The dentist's office.
I don't think it's empty that big.
Is there anything else with Keller Bartman on doing, I'm looking at the power lines in the back alley, it's the last dirt road in the back alley with all
Well, that's a
those.
good question.
Is that gonna be underground wiring and they're doing it, or is the city working with them on that? Because everybody on that
Maybe right
block,
there, I thought the same thing.
I have like 19 wires on the pole between me and State Farm or, Jerry's old building. So you really need to look at how are we gonna function during construction, because it's an interruption of business if we're burying power lines. And all the adjacent properties from the bank all the way down to the library.
so you're saying you wanna see those lines buried?
Buried, well,
Yeah.
well, when they're upgrading the wiring and putting in a 4-story building
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah,
Obviously, we'd all have new wiring just like they would. And is that part of the city cost or the Keller's got to hook to something, he can't hook to those poles? There's too many users on the poles. I don't know, can you keep adding?
Did,
I feel like
I
this
don't
came
know
up,
that-
but I can't remember the answer.
yeah, they had factored in those kinds of costs.
Oh, good, okay.
So, and what happens typically is they'll overwire everything,
Okay,
and then they pull it, then they pull everybody off and they hook everybody up to the new, then they take all the old out.
sure, and I understand that process, but then are we doing other From where?
I think that's
New poles.
way off in the distance. and we don't
Okay,
know.
but I just, those costs were
Cause
included.
they're gonna go to the property in the alley, and then the third floor could have a wire, right? It's on that side of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, that,
Hopefully they're burying the lines, but I will ask.
yeah, that is,
Well, isn't that,
It would make sense to bury the line.
is that a utility decision?
because they have to maintain a certain distance from overhead
Like
lines.
Sal's decision.
Yeah.
We both are back up, say.
Yeah,
Okay,
because it's commercial, you can
And-
go to the property, just like a gamble, so we go to the 16 foot.
included in their request of the city is to help them pay for new alley and new sidewalks around the
Right.
building.
Okay.
And so my plan for that is there are some grants that would be available this summer that we'll apply for that I learned about. And if that doesn't work out, yeah, we'll look to the tip to pay for those costs. And I think there's also like, and I'll bring this up again, a landscaping plan, because I just looked at a satellite image. There's no trees, I mean, and so hopefully I think there's gonna be a plan for better landscaping and stuff. That can certainly.
He left a 5 foot barrier,
Yeah.
second of road, they introduced shrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you try to notice that in Zebroda?
Zimbrota, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay.
They don't like having a building right up to the sidewalk, so
Okay.
there'll be a 7 or
Setback.
whatever. So I noticed it, I got one other point. On
Yes.
his proposal, they had a superficial overlay over the parking lot, so you can see where they were.
Mhm,
parking
I'll
now.
pull that up.
When it came to the outside parking, and we were coming in from towards the Silver Star. They're assuming, I think, that they're gonna be able to use that thoroughfare through there, which is private property. It's not a city alley, that T that goes in there. They had it right out to their property line. And then they would drive in and get into that outside parking lot using that. They're gonna have to get an easement from that to flow through there. to
Are
get
you
into
talking
that.
about right over here? You look up on my screen, right here? Is this Silver Star?
Yeah,
Okay, so like, are you
Yeah,
saying?
you see how
right-
they're entering from the east side,
Oh,
that's private property. It
okay,
half goes to that little building out front and half goes to behind
okay,
the thrift store, and that's, there's 2 different owners.
okay,
Yeah,
Do you think
they should realize that they can get an easement, everybody uses the
okay,
thoroughfare,
Alright.
it's private.
okay, alright.
Well-
So what's the feedback on? My thought was 50 units with missing 10 stalls is gonna be hard, and 44 and only missing 4 stalls is gonna be better to get this thing through. Does everyone
I agree.
think that's
Yeah,
a
I
plan?
think
Okay,
we have to go out on the limb a little bit, I mean,
Yeah.
for what we're getting,
Yeah,
I think it'll work out with.
okay.
yeah, I do.
Okay. So I'll say the Port Authority thinks whatever we've got, this group is fully behind it and we'll think it will get through, but definitely there'll be hopefully less resistance to more like a 44 unit building. The nice thing is switching to 44, we got more 2 bedrooms rather than studios, which we thought would be better for the community,
Yep.
more 2 bedrooms rather than studios.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
the square footage of the 1 and 2 bedrooms?
They're in
Didn't have that, is it in our packet?
Let me try to find it. Unit
We
sizes,
just
okay,
did a
yeah.
square footage report to my Main Street. Program.
unit sizes, second of the bottom.
So
That might change.
2 bedroom,
Yeah.
about, yeah, I think they might be
Yeah.
a little bit bigger than that,
Okay.
It started out at 450 for the studios, but if you're gonna eliminate
I was just
and
wondering.
make
how-
more,
Yeah.
how they divided it up, it's different. But we shouldn't really assume that they're
Okay.
the same as what they gave it.
All right. So, yeah, it's what people are paying right now in the auction.
Is this what they have presented here?
We just did, it's $1 per square foot rent upstairs downtown right now. So we're close to that. And then if you're an owner, it's less. If you're renting.
It's gonna be a little bit, okay, so I have 1 bedroom being 500 to 792 square feet and 1175, so it's definitely over $1 per square foot, but.
Right now, that's because they're upstairs old downtown apartments, so this is new and it's different, so,
Okay.
but that's current.
11. Just take the highest number. Yeah, 148 a square foot, and you're saying going rate is $1?
Right now or less. And you're looking at old buildings.
Beard was 2,
Mhm.
207 or something, right, or something like that.
What is?
Yeah, another group that we looked at,
Okay,
and so their formula was over $2 a square foot.
no, this is good price.
So we were
This is new.
kind of there.
Mhm.
I did present at the Rotary meeting and anyone else was there? No, okay. The questions I got is somebody followed up and asked me to email them the rents, so I don't know, it was Pete Malin. Asked me, can you send me the rents in the building? So now I sent him the old rents, so I'll have to update that. Somebody asked, why can't they just build out on the athletic field? And why is But, and then somebody asked, well, yeah, why do they need TIF? So, yeah. So it wasn't acrimonious, it was just some of the questions that I expect will get, like, why would someone need TIF? Why can't you build it out at the athletic field, you know, so,
I think most of it,
Yeah.
90% positive. I think.
Yes.
Excellent,
Yes.
excellent, excellent.
yeah, oh, we've been getting a lot of excitement,
It is.
yes.
I rented one today, to tell you the truth. Somebody
what?
said, I'm gonna take a 1 bedroom, and she lives in
Ready to go.
Winona, and her dad owns a business here, and I'm not gonna tell you. who.
Okay.
And then
She's moving here with the garage.
Sharon
She
Burke,
didn't know anything about it.
who's a Rotary
Nice.
member, also emailed us after the presentation and said, I'd like to get on the list for the apartments, so.
See, it is,
We learned in some conversation, there will be early adopters, they're gonna get on the list early, and then there'll be
Yeah.
the later adopters, so.
and is there a price increase if you get it at heated parking garage, or if you're outside or in the street?
I forgot,
See,
yeah,
that's a
you
good
think
question.
so,
If that
I
was-
think you
That
get
was a.
a cheaper deal. on the street.
If I don't get a heated, do I get a cheaper rent? Which makes sense,
Which makes sense.
yeah, or you pay extra for a heating garage on top of this, so that's a good
Our son
question.
lives in the city, he pays extra, they get one slot per renter. And it's extra on top of
Well,
it.
there was only 28 heated to start with, I don't know if they're gonna gain, they'll gain some,
No.
what they're doing, so it's still only gonna
They
be.
can't
28.
find, yeah, they
Yeah.
can't find. underground.
It's the way that, I like this layout, the way it is with that entryway was so good on this one here.
Yeah.
It's more inviting when you come in at the ground level and then get in the elevator, and that's the office with the fireplace, and it was very, very
Oh, it
impressive.
worked, yeah, it was.
With these 2 units still down at the bottom, if they're gonna do that.
If you go to
Well, that was good for him.
Plan, so
No,
this is
great.
the first floor parking level right here up on the screen,
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
zoom into that a little bit for you. Sorry,
Little less.
a little less, I know we can't see the screens very well, so we've got 28 stalls here.
Right,
And, Dave was asking, well, couldn't you take these two bedrooms
Well,
and
it-
make them parking stalls?
well, actually, the office too, you'd have to go,
Or, yeah,
you wouldn't have,
and-
that,
But then
the other
he
ones
says,
had an extra 10 doing the L shape.
yeah,
That's
you
where
would
they got-
end
that's
up
where they got-
needing like an access point there. Or a garage entry there, cause I guess the way they've got it lined up, there's not a way to drive through and get to those, so,
Well, you could,
yeah,
yeah, you could do it from the inside, and it'd be awkward, I guess, too.
yeah.
So with the post office and like FedEx and all the mail delivery, just, is there a key fob on the outside of that main lobby?
They're in the main lobby, the key,
Okay,
their
So the
mailbox,
mail.
very
right
nicely
here.
set up, yeah.
Okay,
Right here.
So they get their mail in the lobby,
yep,
Key though, right?
it's good.
Just.
yeah, and I didn't really notice how I'm getting it.
And a small exercise. Common space, people.
Yeah,
can
I
run,
like that, mail.
And a nice lobby area, and then this was the old layout, but they've taken some of the studios and made them 2 bedrooms, I'm not sure which ones.
The simplest
Yeah.
ones, probably those
Yeah.
straight ones there, probably
Yeah,
expanded and.
yeah, maybe make these bigger, so if anything, that'll make the units bigger, you know.
Yeah,
so
and
it's
that's
cool,
their
so.
choice, how they want. to
The
split it.
other thing that I've gotten is it legal to have a 4-story building in Wabasha? And maybe some thoughts that 4 stories is too tall for that area, cause it would tower above what's there. It's not in the historic district. It can't be stopped. I just didn't hear from our committee or our council that that's gonna stop this
Do we have
project.
to have any variances at all?
It's a conditional use permit,
Okay,
is that what I understand, so we will need some variances. with the CUP, we get the variance on height. So normally what's acceptable is only a 30-foot, 5-foot tall.
Well, they're not going with.
But it's-
They're going
That's
back.
deceiving, because
So
I
that-
don't remember this or not,
Yeah.
35 feet is not
Well, yeah, 'cause the
the
garage.
very top
And then they
of
got the pitch roof.
Yeah.
the building. 35 feet is the height of the living space or something to that effect, so you can actually be higher than that anyway. This is a flat roof and it's not gonna matter, but
Yeah.
Okay,
you know, and that concept of massing, I think, is a really interesting lesson. And it will be massed, that will be really a massive towering building there, but I also think that will add to. Kind of that closeness of how a downtown feels, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be just.
And I don't know how high the inside units are gonna be, but the garage has gotta be at least 12 to get the garage, you know,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be an 8 or 10 or 9, it's gonna be 12.
12,
So
yeah.
you're getting a story above a story
Yeah.
in the ground level. Yeah, so that's.
So when you count 4 stories, the garage is story 1?
Well,
Story one,
Okay,
and
so
three
then it's
living
3 levels.
floors.
I thought it was 4 island. Okay.
that's where
The scope
people's
of the
eyes
work
come
is
a
gonna
little
be
bit at
massive.
Cody It's like, it's a 4-story building,
No,
so,
so the
yeah.
Anderson House is 3 stories high, and so is Blaine Marco's building, those are the only 2 3-story highs in the whole district.
Yeah,
So it will,
It'll be above those, but it will be more in line with the river condos.
sure.
You know,
And
so-
water
Shorter than
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
so,
And did they have TIF, were they on a TIF? to
Yeah.
the river?
yes, they were on
How long
TIF.
was that? Because
You know, I don't know.
it's
That
gone now.
I
it's
know
not there
because the
anymore.
tax base is.
What is-
So that was that was 2006.
Yeah,
Built that.
before I retired, just before, so
Yeah.
that's,
6.
Okay, because they're.
that's the last job.
Should raise quite a bit.
Any other comments on the exterior rendering that we wanna share with them?
No, that.
I'm not a designer architect, Mary, this is what the initial
Oh, okay.
exterior was presented,
Okay, same colors, are we doing that?
yeah.
Really? Okay, I'm sorry. You said that out loud. It's white. Are we putting a white building in our downtown district?
Who knows what they're doing?
It's tones of gray is what I understood,
Okay.
accent.
We
With
can give
that-
them feedback, you know what?
Yeah, that's why I said to go with
Oh.
some kind of board that you can change, you know, tone color.
Okay.
Don't do that tin siding or vine.
Dark,
then it's
light,
stuck.
black. and
And it looks
downtown
good.
district.
Yeah, so
What colors you wanna see, Mary?
I don't know, but I just.
that looks
just
too,
like-
well, it looks like they come from a big city. What?
I think it's
I don't like that. I don't
just
It's a new one.
That's
A
great.
brighter.
And you know, that's gonna be, that's
It needs to be
a,
darker
rental.
because it won't look so massive.
that's rental.
Because one thing is, some of
But
the
like
other
short term.
proposers
Oh, really?
presented us a brick building, but I do believe that's
From what
more
I
expensive,
Of course
and
it
they
is, but-
presented a smaller building. But, so you're just saying darker colors that.
Only because it
fit
looks
more-
massive.
Tone
with-
down.
Yeah, tone it down, Dave. Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
And you know, take cues from downtown, which we've got a lot of red brick,
Okay,
you know, white accents. I think that the black.
Black and orange are fine.
Yeah.
black and orange, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at the
Yeah, just
library.
that white has to be way.
Yeah,
She's got color in there, the blue, you know how she did that?
And everyone okay with the flat roof versus?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
Alright,
And those are just, is that an outdoor space on top of it all with that? those white
No,
boxes, or is
this
that-
one does not have outdoor space on the.
And some will have open patios. so.
we did get a really good proposal with the rooftop terrace. They just wanted 2,000 or more per month in rent to make that work out.
Which makes
Just like, that doesn't seem affordable. Okay,
It was cool.
Does each unit get a deck?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, each get a balcony and the balconies are, that's suspended, you know, so they've got the cable and,
Cause I love mine.
yeah.
okay.
So do we need to
Great. I
make,
don't need action, I just wanted feedback to share,
Yeah.
because I wanna keep checking in, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
We don't, I don't know, yeah, I will say, I personally have gotten negative feedback from one person. And it was about the height of the building and losing the library parking stalls, and I'm like, talk to your council member, but, this is on a train that's moving and,
Yeah.
so.
I find the place to park it all the time.
I just think of the color combination.
Just think of the lawn.
That's all I.
Okay.
I'm concerned about.
Great,
So, but
okay. Moving on.
moving on, okay, so the second item. Select and review committee for, select review committee for the RFQ for the barge term.
Okay. So with the getting the federal funds, although we've worked to date with Bolton and Mank on the preliminary designs for the barge terminal. I need, did I say how many?
Sounds like a couple.
I need 2 members, because we can't have quorum, who would like to review the request for qualifications for the proposal. I think I could take 3 on that and not have quorum, but, and so I did get I got a call from a firm that believes they are extremely qualified to do this project. So we've been happy with Bolton and Mank. This requires us to go for a competitive process, and I think we should make it a true and open competition and reevaluate, is Bolton and Mank the best firm for this particular job?
How do you spec that out? I mean, where each department, or how do you, or is it a solid lump sum? How, yeah, how do you, the specs?
So what we're doing with this is we are gonna just select based on qualifications. After we select the qualifier, they're gonna give me their bid. At that point, then I can negotiate if that seems unreasonable, but we've got a budget for what we anticipate. Oh, what are you talking about?
No. Okay, so what's happening is what this, the subcommittee is gonna be doing is looking at the qualifications,
Right,
and that's it.
okay, all right.
All right, that's it.
I've looked at qualifications a lot, so I'll volunteer.
Okay, Craig?
Actually,
Here's
if
one.
we can do 3, and
Yeah,
sorry, Corey, I would go.
No, yeah,
you,
I'm available to do it.
We got Yeah, we got engineers and we got you.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
don't, right? I mean, I'm.
I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Cut the check.
Yeah, right?
I also-
3, yeah.
Dave, Craig, and Jeff. Okay, and then I think what we learned, sorry for the mishap, is that if it is a quorum, I will have to notice the special meeting, and I will let you all know this time. This is just for the committee, but I'm required to notice it as part of a public meeting.
Yeah.
And then the update on the EIS. So we've got a couple meetings set with the agencies. Brian apologizes for how long it's taken. But they felt like they needed to get this right to satisfy the agency. So they've been doing some one-on-one phone calls, but then we're gonna do the big meetings. The subcommittee has been invited to those meetings.
Thursday,
It's online.
Ken? Is that
It's just
tomorrow?
online, Teams.
It's
Yep.
online?
Yep, it's not in person.
Maybe I did read that. I just
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yep, it's,
I
and then
just
Bolton and Mank is gonna do the talking, and then our committee is just kind of showing up if there
Okay.
are questions. If, depending on how those goes, then the next step is you approve the final EIS. I see that Sean and Chuck are actually on the line. Were you guys here for this item, or did you have any comments you wanted to share?
I think he's trying to talk, I hear something.
Okay. Oh, I have it too low, maybe. Hold on. Well. Okay, can you guys talk again? We couldn't hear you. No, can't hear anything.
Chuck did have some questions with me the other day. He was asking about this. I said I can't answer.
Yeah.
What are your questions, Sean and Chuck? We can't hear you though.
No, I have nothing. Can you hear me now?
We were sleeping.
Okay. All
Sorry
right.
about that.
All right.
I'm sorry.
So Sean, just to explain, we have preliminary designs for the barge terminal, but because we have federal funding involved, they require that we go through a competitive process for our engineer. We never really did that from Bolton and Mank. They've been our engineer since 2013. And so we are recompeting out the bid for the engineering firm that's gonna support the construction of the barge terminal. And how it's gonna work is we're looking at qualifications, and the negotiation of the price happens afterwards. So we're looking at qualifications and making a decision if Bolton and Mank will do the final engineering and see the project to the end. And we did ask our grantors, do we have to do this? Is it mandated? They confirmed, yep, that process is mandated.
And Caroline, what's the timeline?
We already released the RFQ and, I think we planned the deadline, did I put it in there? Nope, I didn't. Is, early March, and we'll have a decision within a week
Okay,
on that, so,
so we'll be by our March meeting,
yeah,
theoretically,
hopefully.
You'll have time.
we can
Yeah,
go.
Yep, so we wanna keep this thing moving for sure. The deadline is March 8th to submit,
Okay,
okay. Alright,
okay, we're good with that. Approved engineering firm for phase 1 environmental study. So this is going back to our Second Street property as well as they've quoted for the Main Street as well.
I
Right.
guess they have, yeah, I don't know why Main Street would be necessary, but.
Yep, so we have 3 different proposals, SEH, KLJ, Terracon. The last meeting, there was some questions about whether or not these quotes included the parking lot. All have confirmed that their quotes did include the parking lot, so that answers your question.
Okay.
The Computer Financial, grant was approved, Kathy submitted that, so we have $4,500 in our pocket to fund, an ESA environmental study. SEH came in at 2,900, KLJ came in at 4,625, Terracon came in at 2,500, this is just a phase 1. But for some reason, they also included, Main Street property.
Yeah, I have
and
a
Second
question,
Street.
what's Main Street, what are we doing engineering?
But I don't think I recommend that, but that would be for the Main Street we were looking at the yard.
Right.
Yeah, but just for Grampus Barn, it's $2,500. Kathy recommends to go with Terracon for 2,500.
Motion.
Okay, yeah, I think the only thing is that we don't know Terracon, but they seem reputable, so,
They're licensed.
Yeah.
big,
yeah,
They're
so is SEH.
yeah.
okay.
So what we need is, we need a
You need an approval.
approval for one of them. So a motion to approve,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Terracon.
okay? We have a first for Terracon. Anybody have a second for Terracon?
Second,
Second. Any further discussion?
Are you taking notes, Dusty?
Yes.
Oh, good, thank God, I forgot. I usually does that, okay.
So we have a first and a second, any more discussion, all in favor of going with Terracon for the phase 1 on the Main Street, or excuse me, Second Street properties? All in favor? Close same sign. Perfect. Dusty, thank you.
So,
Brava Swing Community
Oh,
Goals Grant.
yep.
Applications.
So, this is, you want to talk about
So. This is not my project, although I'm thrilled. But, you know, Emily's been running the community, program through our funding that, she applied through Blandon. And one of the ideas is that we had this idea for this big, cool, all abilities playground like other communities have done. But Emily and others sort of supported, why can't we make our existing parks a little bit more accessible? So we're looking at adding a Brava swing to File Sticker Park, and the reason that's coming for review is you guys approved the Boost grant applications.
Yep.
So, so I guess this is what it would look like. And it just is, you still have to get off the wheelchair, but it's designed in a way to make it easier for kids to get from wheelchair to swing and swing, so.
Yeah, the kids can sit that way, or they can sit the other way and
Yeah.
actually have a swing motion.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool, they're pretty
Yeah.
cool.
and the amount was,
and it doesn't move either, I watched the videos.
Yeah, it doesn't
Like,
move.
pull right up in your.
Yeah, you're not, it's not sliding off Monday, which is a problem the
and
kids
they
have.
can-
because
They can
that's-
kind of just dive forward.
Yep,
so we've got about 8,600 remaining in the grant, and that's what the request is for today.
a motion to approve the grant application.
So,
First Mary, second Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
I,
Or same sign. There you go.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Super excited. We've had a lot of requests for swinging that park, so
It's cool.
when we started the community.
Port Authority priorities.
Okay, so, right now we have a large, I think, aggressive housing agenda that kind of moves quicker and moves less. So I think I've learned that when they were hiring for my position, they actually wrote out, like, deleted Port Authority director, because their city administrator was not gonna be the Port Authority director, but what has happened is we wanted to prioritize housing and childcare, and the whole council has. We've kind of existed with me and Tyler doing a lot of support for the port, but also bringing in seated people. So I think Dusty and I've had a lot of conversations that for Wabasha's agenda that we have right now, we probably really need somebody thinking about this topic 2 to 3 days a week, if not, in Dusty's opinion, it could be a full-time job, our agenda that we're trying to drive. She is only here for 8 hours and is getting her time is competed with Winona County, who, believe it or not, just gets her 1 day a week. Used to have a full-time person that just has 1 day, Dusty, a huge county, with maybe $2 million in a revolving loan.
Huge.
And then Goodview is 1 day a week, and Lewiston, and then us. So she really can't go beyond those 8 hours. And so she's feeling like, hey, I need to meet with all these businesses, get to know business needs. But then I'm emailing her tasks to help me move forward this RFP, and now we're gonna apply for this grant. So I've said, focus on housing as things are coming up, and then keep the getting to know businesses and business outreach in the background. As you can accomplish those. But I think we wanted to do a check-in on that. Then we've had the discussion of at least moving up to 2 days a week. I think is gonna be possible in the future, even with our budget. But if we were to move 2 days a week, Ron at CEDA, because she's wrapped up in all those communities, said it would not be Dusty, and we would be seeing turnover again, which I think would be challenging. So did I get it? We're looking for guidance on priorities, and then just kind of a heads up that if we feel like we need to move to more time, which we kind of do. But how does everyone feel like it's working, her services? I think like today, she met with California Overland. She helped in getting letters of support for our grant for the downtown project. What else did you do today? And then we just had a couple check-in meetings with where we're at with different things and prep this agenda,
Yeah,
so.
Corey and I talked about a revolving loan application that's coming.
Yeah.
So, and then that's really all I got accomplished today. I know it sounds like all I got accomplished, but it takes a while to get all these
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
so.
I guess I
Just kind of need to know if you want me to focus on housing, because I feel like housing is huge right now.
Well, I think
More
it's,
than, I can knock out a business or two every week I'm here. That's no problem. But we don't really have programs. My job usually is a community and business specialist, so usually there's a revolving loan fund, which we have, you know what I mean, but that needs to be replenished. And then a facade improvement program, like small grant stuff, and just kind of business networking, see and what you need and stuff like that. That's the majority of my job, but housing is important. And it seems to be a priority for you, as well as childcare. Emily and I are starting to talk about childcare. I think that initiative is starting to kick up again with the new housing complex. Just asking if those are the 2 top priorities you want me to focus on.
Do we have Kathy Anderson still as housing? Are we paying her already?
only once a month though.
Oh,
This has definitely become way more than a once a month job.
Sure, I didn't know.
She checked in as much as she can, but yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
so, speaking for me, right, narrowing your focus makes sense, right? And it's what's priority right now, and I understand that we need to nurture that revolving loan fund and get that. I think with all the activity that we're seeing, that the public is seeing about the Port Authority. Those requests are gonna come more naturally, they're gonna come, they're gonna, hit Corey or somebody, and that's gonna help us develop that a little bit more. We need the housing, we need daycare in order for that third part to kind of happen a lot.
Okay.
And I was thinking about this a little bit, and, and this is up to us as a group, I mean, is it effective for you? Would it be more effective for you to do some remote work rather than traveling here every single Tuesday and just being here kind of, hey, I'm gonna be here. You're here today, right, because of the meeting. So that's when you do maybe your more public facing stuff. But this other stuff, meeting with Caroline and Emily and everybody else, you could do that more remotely. Would that be more effective, better time management? Because I want you to be as effective as you can in those 8 hours, so I don't know if that matters or not.
Yep, so I talked to Ron about that, it's usually, it's not the CETA model, they want you in a community, they don't want you home,
Yeah,
at home. I will tell you that sometimes I'm working for Goodview sitting in Winona County for 8
Yeah.
hours, because they have a complete understanding. So would it be more effective? I think I could get a lot more done. But then that'll take away with some of the business facing
Sure.
and meeting those businesses and stuff like that, so.
what's the sense of the group?
I didn't know, when you're meeting with businesses, are you doing, where you're gathering them to support? I didn't know what part of that job, what was the purpose of all that?
It's just business networking. Hey, I am the EDA rep for the Port Authority rep. What do you need? As a small business, what can we do to retain you? Here's my card. Just let me know if you need anything from the board, have questions, and then getting employee counts.
Yeah, so it's interesting, when she met with Cardinal Health, they said we need housing, right?
Yeah.
And we got how many vacant positions? 6 vacant,
6 or 7.
6 or 7. What did California Overland say today?
They didn't say much.
Okay.
The president is Dusty.
Yeah.
It's about 200 plus employees is what they said. That's with the truck drivers and stuff. I met the safety guy too, but housing is always a big thing. I talked to the school district today. They said, yes, childcare housing, the county I contacted today, so. They need housing, they need everything, everyone else
We're
needs.
working on it.
But they
are
are,
priorities, yeah.
but they also need employees. You know what I mean? So that's the big one for that. Yeah.
I think those meetings are super effective to get the
Yes.
port's name out there and meet with these larger employers, and then when we have an opportunity, like we need letters of support, she knows who are
To
the.
get them, yeah.
There's a familiarity with.
I-
letters of
From-
support come easier.
From my perspective, I think this group understands it's 8 hours a week and feels very excited. And they, I think, are fine with me spending time. I don't think the council feels like, they feel like I'm managing my time just fine, so it's been working. It's just different than in her other communities. There's no involvement from the city administrator in the port. They're not involved. I'm the most involved.
We got a lot going on.
But this is also new, this is a new community for CETA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're learning what CETA does,
Yep.
whether you like us or not. I mean, our business model, you know what I mean? So that's.
But that's
normal.
also how we're making 1 day a week, because I'm filling in and Emily's been helping in, so, yeah.
I think from my other communities, I think CETA, or I think Wabasha could use either a part-time, if you want my opinion, or 2 to 3 days for an EDA, Port Authority rep.
Yeah. I think we're not there,
No, funding-wise, yeah.
mentally, we're not there, but I do understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
If we're gonna continue to be effective, we're gonna need some kind of. You know, presence like that. What?
Financially.
Well, no, we're not.
I mean,
But we've needed housing for years.
Correct.
But we've been way behind on that.
Finally, you're starting to even address it.
And what happens is, you know, this is a snowball effect, right? This is gonna make more people interested in, I'll call it river crossing in the athletic field. That's a long process,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of boxes that have to be checked before we can get there. And somebody that's involved in housing, see that there's gonna be a lot of things to do for that project. And just the list starts going up, and I think too, you know. Wasn't that many years ago, people were asking, well, what is the Port Authority? And now it's, you know, in the paper all the time, we're talking about it. So it's very different.
It's something the council couldn't do,
Right,
right? It's just out of their range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the port's a good thing. I mean,
yeah.
The other thing,
We're actually gonna have
that's the
port.
thing. I mean,
the other thing that
We actually have the ability to, we have the ability to have a port, which
Emily
leverages us quite differently.
You guys have a
Suggested-
lot of good things going on.
Yeah.
I can, yeah.
And one of the developers we talked to, I learned today, decided to ask Winona for help. He said, I'm getting a lot of help in Waukesha, the one we went to, and Chris Sanchez, and
Yeah,
he said he's going to Winona and say, you guys need to step up and provide support for housing like I got in Waukesha.
like
So,
Redwood.
yeah, probably us.
And Redwood
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
and voted it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you, to get somebody.
But one suggestion from Emily is that me and you come up with, in 5 years, the Port Authority helps to support 200 units of housing or 150 units of housing. And start tracking it, because if this project comes through, plus the 13 townhomes that we help, we'll have 57 units in
Yeah,
2 years,
it's
which
a
is
good start.
It's
amazing.
pretty huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think we could set a goal and then keep being able to narrow it back to the community, like the Port Authority said, we want 150 units of new housing in Waukesha in 5 years and kind of show progress on that, so.
but even on a smaller scale, when you helped all those businesses with HVAC, that was huge.
Yes, I need to do a write-up on that.
1,000 into the downtown.
Yes.
Port hasn't done that in the past, and that was just grant money that
Yeah.
passed through.
Mhm.
It was a lot more by you and yes, staff, other staff should have done it.
17 businesses, it'll end up being 255,000, but plus,
Unbelievable. The
yeah.
reinvestment in our community.
Mhm.
So it's just like finding the revolving loan, that was priority for the last senior director to get another 100,000 from USDA to get that revolving loan fund built up. So that's probably a priority that we should see that she does too, just because we need to replenish that, not just count on the tax money that's thrown into our budget.
So that is on my 2025
Okay,
priority, but I would start working that in the fall
sure.
of this year
Okay.
to get it replenished for 2025. Because there's 2 grant applications during the year,
Yeah,
so. Yeah, that's on my list.
it's all of the above, but will help you get there, and the group knows, like, I get a report from her, like, I feel like she's doing a good job, so, yeah.
that's
All right. Yes,
Do you feel like it's not a scatter kind of thing, you feel like you're,
oh, good question.
you know, that, okay, I focus on these things, I have, because I know you're kind of result oriented, so you wanna, I can see results, I can make results happen in this. As opposed to you feel like you come in and you're all over the place.
So I feel like the first time I was here, the first month, I was like, whoa, got a lot going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I think closely working with Caroline, I feel like we're honing in.
Okay.
On what's important right now and the shifting, and that would be, yes. I feel good about where we're at now.
Okay.
I don't feel scatterbrained anymore.
Okay,
I did a while ago,
Oh.
but now we're good.
for the club,
Yeah.
did we have we satisfied this conversation, do you think?
I think so.
I will continue to, I think once we've said this for everything, but once the bar terminal is up and running, if that's a person that's still managing the bar terminal, there will be money for someone some more time. I told John, I'm clinging to that project just because I wanna see it. I wanna see something built before I envision someone being hired, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Or if you needed more days from me, that's a conversation with Ron to drop another community. And Caroline and I've talked about one or two that don't have as much going on and then replacing,
Right,
so.
yeah, and I think I should probably speak, I'm not speaking out of turn, I think that would be our desire to see you add days rather than us seeing somebody new
I think for.
in future, working on.
For my salary for 2024, with the admin funds that I've been charging on HVAC, I paid back the 15,000 that we budgeted, but we decided that that extra money is just gonna go back to our general fund, but certainly in 2025, we can have a discussion with our council to say, let's drop charging for Tyler and Caroline's time. That's just part of our objectives, is to support the port. And that definitely, we have enough money then to pay for at least 2 days a week from CETA. Yeah, she said in her other community, she gets support from the city administrator, but no one else in the other community is paying the general fund for their city administrator and finance director's time. I wouldn't even mind dropping it this year. The problem is I budgeted for it, so it's kind of already a built-in assumption, but we can definitely look at zeroing that out for 2025 and kind of explaining to council that, that will get more done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was never in favor of paying for the administrative things.
yeah, I mean, I
It's a
think,
leftover from,
It's, you know, I think people that are working on staff could probably devote that time without having to bill us for it.
but we address that come next budget season for the council.
so, yeah, I think starting, January 21st, 2025, we could get somebody 2 days a week.
That might be a perfect time. I don't know what to think.
Hopefully we'll be going by then. We can put
Yeah.
that.
Any other discussion or comments on that? Otherwise, we can move to the next item. What is the next item?
Coordinator's report, we moved it down.
We have that, Port Authority Partners, coordinators report. We got, barge terminal update.
Oh, well, I gave it, oh yeah, I guess. Update on our terminal, so what did I write? Nothing, I didn't write anything, okay. So, Sean and Chuck are here as well. Oh, let's see something in the chat. So I just wanted to let people know. That the winter truck haul is underway right now. We are currently so how everyone gets paid is through a certified survey that shows how much sand has been removed. So that survey has been done. I think we're waiting for that to get sent to the Army Corps. They do some quality assurance to make sure that survey was done. And then money will arrive to the city's bank account. Then I think somehow its portion is gonna be paid out to the Coners, and a small percentage will get sent to the Port Authority. Now, in a technical way, I'm just looking to, we have like a lot of expenses, so I have a separate account. We've got barge terminal expenses account, and then we'll have barge terminal revenues. And we will track it separately, so at any time, we could just include in, Tyler's financial report, give us a status of where we're at with expenses versus revenues on the barge terminal.
So
And
when that
then-
sand was removed, where was it removed from? From the pit up at the.
Yeah.
railroad pit.
That they're hauling.
And I have the,
Concrete plant,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have the first month report from that Brian.
Okay,
The 35,422 yards were taken out in the first month. And of that, we get $2.40, so that's like $85,000 for the first month.
oh, you already
And-
figured it out?
Well, that's pretty easy. I'm good at it.
Okay.
knows all about cubic yards.
Yeah,
And I don't know, Sean, Chuck, you guys thinking like 40,000 a month? Is that what you're thinking you're gonna be able to do? Has that been your goal?
Sean?
He's muted.
Yes, our goal was to get this done in what 90 working days. So we are a little bit behind schedule. We had some unexpected shutdowns. So we're hoping to get back on track here.
Yeah, so the piece of equipment broke, the unexpected occurred and yeah, but now they're back up and running.
That's fine.
Lisa and I are gonna do interviews of workers on Thursday. That's a mandated component of this, for the Davis Bacon. So we're gonna just make sure everyone's getting paid the wages that were reported to us, so. Yeah, they know that's coming, they're ready to be interviewed. Just kind of the checks and balances, to make sure people are getting paid the right wages, so.
Yeah, pay sheets to go with it.
Pay sheets, yes, they send us, they're sending us, they've done a good job, they're sending us weekly payroll reports.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's all.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just how it's done, that's fine. Okay. Thanks, Sean, for that update. Where are we at now?
Yeah.
Are we back to Dusty's deal?
Yep.
Dusty's, okay, go.
Okay, so I think everyone had a chance to look at the coordinator's report. We just talked about kind of shifting priorities, so this report will look a little bit different next month, okay? I can rework the hours and stuff like that to reflect. I would probably just go down to the progress made and let me know if you have any questions. I mentioned earlier that there is another revolving loan application coming through that'll be on the March agenda, and that's for broken paddle facade improvement to the outside, the brick needs to be reworked. That's coming in a little under $8,000. And that's already been cleared by the loan committee and stuff like that, and Tyler says we've got some funds left for that, so that's kind of good news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really all, I mean, I did the reference checks with the RFPs, I hope you like them.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of calling.
It was helpful.
Good. I am starting to send, emails like training opportunities through CETA or grant opportunities or just opportunities for small businesses through the business directory that completed. It's not 100% complete, but that's part of going around to all these businesses, getting the right point of contact, the right emails, all that good stuff. But there are emails going out, and I think I've sent 2 so far. And that's part of that business retention and assistance going out there. And then we will talk about the facade improvement program. I think we'll talk about that maybe next month. But that would probably be a 2025 project with the housing and the priority shift that we just talked about
are
tonight.
you targeting the downtown business area?
I am targeting everyone,
Hmm.
outside, industrial park, businesses.
My front steps need painting.
No,
That's it, you talked to my Minnesota Main Street coordinators, the Rethos program director, and they said that Minnesota Main Street does not have facade improvement grants at all this time, so I was so happy that you were taking that on the whole.
Yeah.
Because that used to be a program and we just don't do that.
It's such a successful program and it will get the port's name out there even further.
Yeah.
Most of those they come from levy tax dollars.
Right, and then the district has fixed up their properties, but nobody's reached out to other the district, so that's a bit.
Yeah, my target is everyone.
Yep.
So
and she's just saying it could just be used for better signage. Let's get
signage, facade.
some
Yeah.
requests that we've gotten is like, hey, could the city help me with my signage? And we really can't, but it would be nice to say, hey, try this program. So.
Yeah.
Those visual improvements, it's a domino thing, isn't it? You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's first, that's cleaned up and looks good. Wow, that looks really good. Yeah, I guess this is how I got it. Oh, okay, and this moves right down the line.
You know, and Lewiston needs a lot of help. I don't know the last time we went to Lewiston, but once that first facade application went down range 2023, we ended the year with 8.
See, just like that.
It's just like that, everyone's trying to improve the outside of the business, so,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah,
Chelsea, what would be helpful for me is if you could, because I imagine Lewiston has about our tax base, it's maybe less. How much do they levy every year for the Port Authority? How much is paid to CETA? And then where they're getting that money, is that coming from their total levy or
Yeah, I have
you got
that,
that?
I have that coming to you.
Okay.
So Bobby said it was okay to share it, now I'm just waiting on John Nino, the EDA chair, to tell
Okay.
me it's okay. And
Okay,
I'll just send you the financials over.
Great.
No big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I should be getting that, I'll be in Lewiston on Thursday. So,
great.
On this application we received, I didn't wanna shut up Dusty for making that connection. I feel like you going out to that business is the main reason they applied to get
Well, that's
the
good.
the revolving loan fund application done. The question I had with just this one in particular and ones that might follow is this one. I was just thinking in my head when I was looking at everything, does it fall under that category of, is it, is it adding workforce or
Yeah,
what it's adding to the community? This one in my head qualified because it's adding structural integrity to a downtown business. And I thought that was very important to qualify it. I just want to make sure I'm thinking for the board correctly on that one, or just.
I thought it
some
had a
community is.
job retention or creation criteria.
And it was using local contractors and,
But that doesn't-
but that it wouldn't, so.
do you want me to grab the application with the fine details, or?
Let's talk about it offline, but check with Kathy because we qualified Hills Hardware and we had to prove that Hills Hardware was preserving jobs by undertaking this improvement. Improving the outside brick facade. I don't know, somehow they did it for Hills Hardware, so let's chat with Kathy and see her thought.
I think the argument could be, we're gonna spruce the place up, it's gonna look like it's open for business.
Yeah, and the way this was worded in the application was it needed to be done to provide like strength to the structure of the building, which is where in my head it qualified, but
Yeah.
again, it just kind of gets in that gray.
Building, you have to- Yeah, okay.
If it just, for future ones, I just don't want it to get in that gray area of, is it structural, is it not, do we have to prove that, when and where we get these? Does it qualify for what we're
Let's-
looking for?
Let's look into that, because I remember.
I just, before we got 5 of them,
Yeah.
I wanted to,
I
think about
questioned
that
that for Hills Hardware, like how we arrived at job retention, so we need to look into it. That's-
yeah, and if you don't have the building, you don't have the jobs.
Well, that's true.
But,
It's
you
in.
know, where,
It's not done.
Yeah,
It's an issue.
yeah,
I do have other building owners who need brickwork and mortar repair to the tune of 50,000, and I said,
yeah,
call the city.
yeah,
So I don't know, I mean, Mike asked me to for Main Street, and I said, I don't know if that qualifies for any programming. But
right, and that's where I just want in our program, want
So
to make
that's
sure that
something that
we're,
is needed in downtown, is helping with bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
Structures of it.
Yeah, I think historically it was kind of like how it was used on the, downtown building when a new business is opening up and they need to buy equipment and that there was a clear job creation time. But again, I do know that we help Hills Hardware do succession planning, so let's talk to Kathy. Okay.
That's fair,
Thank you.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I just saw that one snowballing from where that one came from.
How are we drawing the line here? Yep.
Big, wide, all right, anyway, anything else, are we done?
No, I have one thing to
Oh,
revert
okay.
back on. I knew when I went through the agenda, I saw something about the food shelf and this is.
Oh, yeah.
one of the next steps.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
A designated lead person for the food share move location. I'll volunteer right away because I did the whole thing before with Martha and Chris Simonson.
Oh, thank you.
So we have to be going on this because that's gonna go fast.
Pretty tough fast.
And we're gonna have to look for grants, rent. I mean, it's a big task just to find the place and then remodel. It's gonna be the whole thing like we did there. But we had so much outpouring of free labor and everything. So we have to start on that right now. So.
Okay, I was copied on an email where Emily reached out to Chris Simonson and Martha, and so let me, I'll reply all on that one and just say, hey, Dave Woodley's volunteered to be on the
Yeah.
committee as well, let's make
I've
sure
worked with
he's
both
included.
those the whole time. So.
Dusty did inquire about some sites out there, in the industrial park and found something. The problem is, I think it's gonna be unaffordable, but we need to know what square footage
That's the
they
big
need.
question. is
Yeah.
the Affordability.
Yeah,
It can be subleased.
And I'd like to know where where you going, so.
It's right in the industrial park, it's
By the printing company?
13 industrial court, am I getting that right? Yeah.
I mean, anything in there.
It's
Where
still
printing
stump,
companies?
so stump printing.
Oh, part of the stump,
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
the back end.
backside, yeah,
Yeah, that
because they got
It's the
the gunsmith is in there and I
Yeah.
think there's one down, one.
So they want $6 per square foot per year. That's,
but it can be subleased. So we asked for the square footage of what they need for the food share right now, and then I can go back to the Bucky Beeman. I think he's well known around here.
What's that?
Bucky Beeman,
He's out of Rochester, he's a commercial broker,
Okay,
you know, property.
but I think that would be a nice site.
yeah, it's out of the way and if they need, yeah, there's a way door there too to get the product in on the pallet, that's the big
You need to
thing.
get the big truck.
Well, that's
in
a
and out.
start, yeah, it's just the electric and for the freezers, I mean, it's a lot of work.
There's a lot of electric out there. They have a flyer.
So presses, Dave.
Huh?
Brandon's old printing presses.
Well, that's, I mean, just so it's gotta be wired to each, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't, you know, the passing did it for practically nothing, so it's a big obstacle to get that all lined up.
Well, this building says it comes with amazing power, if you read
Well,
the
that's
flyer.
good, it just has to be properly done and you can only have 3 on one
Yeah,
thing.
Does Bucky own that or is he representing?
he's just representing, so I was just, hopping around the industrial park
All right.
today, just kind of visiting and came across it, so.
can you get free anymore? I mean, discounted? I don't know.
Yeah, are there any tax?
This is what it
advantages
looks
for
like.
them To donate
Well, that's-
space for a food shelf, too?
Could be.
I don't.
And how are other food shelves? You know, funded, there's one in every town, or county, so. That's a good question to
I
find
think
out,
that's.
yeah, how do they get funded?
Okay.
Because it's hard enough getting the donations for the food.
But
Right.
wait, this was crazy to me, so when I calculated what 38,000 square feet is a year, and it's like 200,000 a year. That's crazy, to run a huge commercial building. Does this sound normal to you?
That's the old box factory, that's not the print shop.
It isn't?
Well, there's a print shop in the back, there's a printing company
Oh,
that's taking up
that's the
part.
The pizza box.
That's Belger
Yeah,
Industries.
in Belgium, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the Valley Cook, right?
It's not
That's what I was thinking. Okay, that's the front part then.
Box. Okay.
Well, is it the back unit,
It's so the back unit is where the printing.
way back toward the highway?
Right,
That's not heated. That's just a story. For lease, it's for leasing right now with the big trucking company was in there, that's not heated.
Hmm.
No, that isn't even,
Port
Well, they
Authority
want
has-
quite a bit of money for it, so.
it's in a crush truck spot hole back in there.
The Port Authority.
I
has-
take that
it's
off
Port
my list.
Authority, so.
Carolyn, can I get forwarded on the emails too, because we have to uninstall our mural on
Oh,
that building before you tear it
Oh,
down.
yeah,
And
Yeah, that's-
relocate it.
It's another question.
That
Yeah,
will
you
be
have to-
installed and we will
Yeah, we have
relocate
to
it
think
as
of
soon as we
this.
have a spot,
So
but
that place is up.
so if we get the grant, I think we're
There's stuff.
looking at summer of 2025.
But right, we need to find that location right
Yeah.
now and see what the
Yeah.
certain building owner and approvals with it's.
Yeah.
You know, there's no
Lot
way to
to think
store
about.
it, so we have to, uninstall and reinstall that same week,
Yeah.
All right, then the last, I just have one question for whoever might have an answer, and then we'll get out of here. East Main Street, they tore down that house. And now the foundation is sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does anybody know who owns that? And if they do, should we approach them as a port authority to see if we can't secure it? Because maybe that could be,
because I walked by the other day and there's some wood scaffolding
I know.
over in the hole and it's falling in.
Yeah, we got it.
It's gonna get hurt.
I think they squashed, they paid way too much for it, tore it all down, put new windows in it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
tore it all down.
Yeah.
And they were gonna build a duplex where there's not room for a
there was a.
single family home there. So I think they just said the heck with it, but they thought a lot of things.
where's
Yeah.
My neighbor found it when he put the windows in and then he sold it off, and then they. sold
Yeah,
it.
and
They
those
tore it down.
people
I can,
tore it down and then,
It's,
but they should, it's a
I know
hazard.
where the Main Street property is, we're thinking about that vacant spot, so if you go toward town. About
Oh,
a
yeah.
less than a half block, just past you got the gray townhouses, it's a vacant lot, and then. The next is, you'll see the foundation sitting there.
Oh,
So.
And so is that where you're thinking that could be, just let's find out who owns it and see what their
Yeah.
plans are?
Yep.
That's something that should be done.
Yeah,
Corey, you're gonna see if you can find out
Who owns it?
on this?
Probably on the
Beacon
best.
should.
Yeah,
Beacon
with
should-
Yeah,
We have an address.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
I could see what I could find out from Barry, my neighbor,
okay.
he would know,
oh, was
Is it
Barry
good?
involved with that?
yeah. Yeah, he had it basically roughed in to the point where I thought he was gonna close it in and sheet rock it, and then they stepped in as buyers and relieved him of all the work and tore it down.
That's so strange.
Yeah,
Put down without a permit.
After
That was all.
Never got an inspection for asbestos?
No, that was
Tore it
terrible.
down.
Carol, what are the townhouses real quick, because I need to catch up to all of this housing stuff. You said something about 13 new townhouses.
That's gonna be out there,
Shills Basin.
Oh, thank you.
Bigelow.
And the port's role again was just. It was happening, but the housing committee said we wanna make sure that this can happen, and so they wanted to build private roads. And there was some initial resistance to private roads. So a group of us toured with Bigelow Homes, saw a bunch of private roads in good condition and just said, yeah, we'll allow private roads there and. Just help pave the way to, I don't know, we didn't do a lot, but I think just saying like, we've got this housing task force, we wanna see you be successful. It kind of came together at the housing summit that we hosted, so.
It was because of the housing task force that. that all
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Otherwise, a motion to adjourn?
Oh.
Second? I'll second.